Right. Perfect. Welcome, everyone. We're so happy that you could join us today, our last virtual coffee break with CFNC for this academic year. We will kick back off in August, but we are happy that you could join us. If you have joined us before, you know that these are very laid back, and make sure you have your coffee or your tea or whatever it is you like in the morning, and we are going to run through some information. So just like we always do, we're going to kick off with a few just reminders and tips that I have for everyone, and then we'll have our 5-minute video, Brewing Success with Pro Tools, and so we'll watch that together. And then we have our spotlight topic, and we're really, really excited for that one. So we're going to be talking enlistment basics with Cedric Thomas, and he is U.S. Army retired Command Sergeant Major over at Overhill High School. He is in charge of the JROTC cadets, and so he'll have information for you all as educators, and you can ask questions that you might have as you're considering how to best help your students as they're considering enlistment as an option. My name is April Query. I'm Assistant Vice President of College Access and Community Outreach. We also have Kate Freeland joining, and she will be helping with the chat and such. So just let us know if you need anything. All right, so let's kick off with a few updates and reminders. Okay, so one, we are working on the virtual coffee break schedule for next year right now. So that will be out, and we're going to go ahead and put out the entire calendar for the next academic year. So be on the lookout for that as we kind of move into August. We also have a new piece of material, and it's called Stay Ready. It's for seniors to help them over summer break. There's things to do. Hopefully we want to avoid summer melts because, well, there's stuff to do. There's orientation, there's emails to keep an eye on, and I'm going to show you just a screenshot of that in just a moment. And we want to congratulate, I connected congratulate and graduation. Congratulate Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools for winning May's Coffee for Your Office in August 1st. So as far as C2C is concerned, it's crazy to think about that for next year, right? It's June. We're just getting started with summer break. April, I don't want to think about when we come back in June. My son goes to a year-round school, so we get 5 weeks of summer break. So my brain is moving already for next school year. So you can take this and then put it in the back of your mind as you go enjoy your well-deserved summer break. We are working on Countdown to College for the fall already. We are hard at work. August 1, we are going to release registration. So that'll be registration for site coordinators, registration for the Education Professionals Month in September, and then registration for student sessions that we will offer virtually in October. So we will have registration. August 1, we'll be sending emails out to everybody for that. And then, as usual, October 1st, we will publicize the list of colleges that are waiving their fees to make sure we give our institutions in North Carolina plenty of time to consider, hopefully, waiving fees during that week and so forth. Keep in mind that college application week, so the week where we have many colleges in North Carolina waive application fees, has been extended into the weekend. So we're very excited. To do that. So it'll be through that Sunday at 11:59 p.m. and it starts October 21st. So that's the week of college application week. Okay, so that's great. No virtual coffee break next month, but we'll see you in August. And we'll see some of you at the Financial Aid Summit later this month in Concord. So be sure to say hello. All of our CFNC outreach folks will be there as well, except for one person who's going to be at a conference. And also keep your eyes and ears open for emails at the Financial Aid Summit and so on. We are going to have some announcements coming out soon. We're having some excellent, positive, happy changes regarding our strategic focus in our outreach team. So we're going to be excited to share that as well, starting with the Financial Aid Summit. And if you have not already, I think some of you have, let us know where you're joining us in the state. We've got folks from Highlands, North Carolina, Fairmont, Montgomery County, Asheville, Thomasville, Charlotte. We are all over the place. A few of us on today are joining you from Wilmington, where we live. So we're happy you all could join us, and we're really happy just to offer these to give everyone a chance to hear some updates and have a spotlight speaker, and just let it be a nice, relaxed environment for everyone. This is our new Stay Ready piece. Big thank you to Brittany Privet, who's on, who is your CFNC outreach person for the 910 area code, and she covers right now Over Hills High School. So we're excited that she helped create a lot of this and offered some of the ideas on this. And this comes from the idea and the thought that so many of our seniors this year with the FAFSA challenges are having to make decisions quickly, right? So they're getting award letters, offer letters, and it's butting up to the dates when they've had to tell their colleges they're coming, and it's been a hurry up and kind of handle this. So we know that there's things they need to do over the summer also. So we thought, how can we help on our side? So in our wheelhouse, it is really providing information. So this piece talks a little bit about how they can compare those financial aid offer letters, the need for an email address, and remind you that they'll need an email address outside of their school one, since that is going to go away this summer, and a little bit more information on how to secure their spot, staying organized, orientation at college. So some things that they do need to consider this summer before they head off. So there's still some fun stuff to do. Yes, and I will actually, Kate, do you mind? That's a great question. Do you mind? Oh, thank you. Perfect. So we'll put the link to that in the chat. We don't have any pieces right now that we don't have them pre-printed, but you can kind of print as you go. And then depending, since it's a brand new piece, depending on the demand for it, we might consider printing some in this next year. So I am going to share a different screen so that we can all watch. Actually, it would probably be easier for me to stop share and then do a new share, so I can make sure I get the right thing up here. This is what we want. Okay. So we are going to watch Constance Hollingsworth Pierce. She is the K-12 Client Service Manager for CFNC Pathways. She's also the North Carolina Governor's HBCU Internship Program person, and so she's in Greensboro, and she can't always join us each month. So we have these videos, and keep in mind that the videos also live on a separate playlist. So let's go ahead and watch her video. If folks can't hear anything, let me know. We're going to give it a go.
For you all, and I hope you all had a good morning. Good morning. This is Constance Hollingsworth Pierce for our last session this semester or this year. I have enjoyed doing these 5-minute tips about Pro Tools for you all, and I hope you all had a wonderful school year. Today, I really wanted to focus on an area that we really don't talk about too much in Pro Tools Help. But before we go there, I want to remind you about Pro Tools Help. What is Pro Tools Help? It is an area that mimics Pro Tools. Our left-hand side, dashboard, student groups, college reports, career reports, custom reports, and administration mimics what you see in Pro Tools. And when you come to Pro Tools Help, we wanted to provide some sort of assistance and guidance to help you understand each area. So today, when we click on Custom Reports, you're able to build reports. Here in Pro Tools Help, you are able to see college applications by college. You're also able to build reports for college applications by student, in progress applications by college, in progress applications by student. These report builders are the 4 that we have right now. What our developers have done has added 2 more that I'll introduce to you in a second. So in our Pro Tools Builder for college applications by college, each section, and we pride ourselves on simplicity, so you are able to see the same thing in each area of our Pro Tools accounts. So What we have here in college applications by college, this report groups students by the colleges to which they have applied through, a reminder, they have to apply through cfnc.org in order for you to see this data. But you can search, sort, and export for all 4 areas. The first thing you can do is grouping by colleges to which students have applied. You can export in all 4 areas, and you're able to search based on any of the columns, such as student name, student ID, or their account name. And it looks the same for each one. So college application by student, this report groups by student name, so you can see all the colleges to which a student has applied, along with several details, such as date started, date submitted, and the CFNC account name under which they submitted. In progress application by college. This report groups students by the college to which they have in progress applications. So we know we have those students who start but forget to submit. So we're able to provide this helpful information so you can see that pipeline of applications that your students have started. And the same for in progress applications by student. You're able to see all the colleges to which the student has in progress applications. They started but have not submitted. And this just walks you through the behind the scene just in case you forget. But when we come over here to Pro Tools, remember our Pro Tools help, it mimics what you see here. So we click on custom reports on the left side, report builder. And look at here, we have 2 new ones that I would like to introduce to you today. We're CFNC, we talk about colleges, but we also focus on careers. We want to give you a holistic view. All of our students aren't going to college, but we have that option for those who choose to do careers. So we have our career cluster report that is now active and interest profiler report. So when your students take those inventories under in careers, then you will be able to come here and build reports for career cluster report and interest profiler report. When your students come back, they can automatically start. When you come back in August, and actually, just a little hint, you check back next month, you will see it. But we'll have, in Pro Tools Help, we'll have that behind the scene update for career clusters report and for interest profiler report. A wonderful thing here is for career clusters report, you will be able to click on any cluster for the top career cluster, click on a year, and if you had some results, you'll be able to see your top results for that class for each career. So again, if your students take that wonderful assessment, you will be able to come back here, and when we have results, they'll fall under here, and then you will be able to export. But again, we'll come back and Pro Tools Help when you come back in August, but actually next month, you will be able to see here under Report Builder, instead of 4 reports, you will now see 6 reports. And again, those 2 new reports are Career Clusters Report and Interest Profiler Report. You are now able to start planning with your students. So for interest inventory, again, it gives you that top interest. So as you're working with your students and you want to group them, you're able to group them based off their interests. I'm excited to build this for you guys and to work with you guys. Thank you for taking 5 minutes of each month to listen to me talk about Pro Tools tips. I'll see you next month. Actually, no, it's the summer. I'll see you in August. Have a wonderful, amazing summer, and we'll see you soon.
I love Constance. She did such a good job of providing information, and so sweet. All right, so hopefully everyone found that helpful. I think a big a message for us is to remember that we have some stuff that's going to be, changing and being added and such. So be sure to pay attention to your emails, especially as they come in August. So we are very excited to have our spotlight speaker here today, talking a little bit about enlistment basics as you're considering assisting your students. We talk so much about the 3 E's, right? We have enrollment, we have employment, and we have enlistment. And I think that a lot of our schools have resources on their campus. Some have JROTC programs, some may not. But we have Sergeant Major Thomas with us today, and I'm going to pass the ball on over to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, good morning, April. Thanks for having me. And good morning, everyone in attendance. I'm Cedric Thomas. I'm a retired Command Sergeant Major from the United States Army. I served for 32 years and 20 days. So I spent most of my adult life as a soldier, and that wasn't enough.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, now I'm serving as a JR. I did hear you say something about somebody from Overhills earlier. It was someone from Overhills on.
Yeah, so we have an outreach person with CFNC, Brittany, who comes and helps at Overhills. But I don't know if there's anyone from Overhills High School.
Okay, I got you. But okay, so
or not.
So I spent a lot of time in the Army, and when I got out, because of the time that I had, I could have probably went on and got a job making a whole lot of money. But I decided to put my investment into the kids and trying to secure our future. So if we could get them activated to do some good, positive things or make them better citizens, as all of us on here get a little bit older, we may be able to get our Social Security. So that's why I'm gonna invest that. But to talk about the Army, I joined the Army, graduated high school May 23rd, 1986. It's a long time ago now that I sit back and think. The year after we graduated, I married my high school sweetheart. We're still married after 37 years. So she's been everywhere I've been with me, with the exception of combat. She says, "Is that a question or enlistment for students?" Yes, I'll get to that. So I've been committed for a long time. Now I'm committing myself to working with young kids at Overhills High School as a JROTC instructor. As I'm talking to you all now, I'm sitting here in the dorms at South Carolina State University in Orangeburg, South Carolina, attending a STEM camp with my kids. So that's what we're doing now. I could do a Q&A with you all if you have specific questions, or I could just take it from telling you guys, I see somebody go Bulldogs, all right. Or I could just go ahead and give you guys some of the things that I think could help your kids to prepare for military service. So do anyone have any questions up front? Okay, that means everybody's good. So I'll start off with one of the first things you have to do to get a kid to join the military. Everybody think that a kid has to be in JROTC to join the Army. Wrong. Everybody think that a kid has to be in JROTC to get a ROTC a scholarship to go to college. Wrong. The whole idea of JROTC is to make young people better citizens, and we teach them life skills that they could take with them long after high school, after college, and into their adult life. So that's what the JROTC program do for you. A high school kid that want an ROTC scholarship, they go through the application process to be able to get the scholarship. Once they get the scholarship, they will attend the university that accept them. And then after they finish their college, they have a commitment to the United States Army to serve as a commissioned officer. So that's the difference in a kid that's just get out of high school that want to join the Army and being enlisted like I am versus a guy, most of your general officers, and if you guys know the rank structure, your captains, lieutenants, all of those are officers who went to college either right out of high school, or they may have joined the Army, attained some college, and then went to officer candidate school. So it's a couple of different ways that you could join the military, but I'll talk about the enlisted part first, and then I'll talk about the officer route for your kids that's in high school. So for a kid to enlist in the Army, they have to take the ASVAB test. Everybody familiar with the ASVAB test? So ASVAB, the acronym is Armed Surface Vocation Aptitude Battery Test. And that's a test to see what type of job you're going to be, that you can best serve in. One of the hardest things, I think, for some high school kids, some of them do exceptionally well on that ASVAB test, and others struggle to get a passing score where they can even enter the military. Any questions yet?
I have a question. How important is it for students? Do you think, should they just show up for the ASVAB, or should they prepare for it and study for it like any other entrance test?
So my story is, it was in high school, and the Army recruiter was coming to the school, and they said, who want to take this test? I didn't take the test to join the Army. I was taking the test to get out of class. I did well enough where I could join the Army. I didn't exceed the standard, like get over 50 above. The entrance, I think, was like 30 back then, and I got like a 32. That wasn't the best, but I met the qualifications. So for the kids that really want to join the military, some of them have some doubt, but some of them are just smart enough to just go in there and just take the test, and they could do well. Others, they have to prepare for that test for a long time. And that, my advice to you would be to turn them on to, in every media center, a library, you have the ASVAB study guide. For those who need to get themselves ready, I would say get that book out of there, practice, and then when the recruiters show up to give the ASVAB test at the school, they'll be ready. For a kid that know it takes a lot longer for them to get ready, the first eligible time when they're a sophomore, you should get them in there and take the test. If they don't do so well, they could take it again. Then they could take it again. But when you get to your 12th grade year and you wait to do it, now you're going to be put on a 6-month probation, where you may have wanted to leave right after high school. You're going to have to wait till after Christmas. So for me, I passed the test, graduated May 23rd, June 11th, which was yesterday, I joined the Army. So yesterday would have made 38 years. I'm still serving, but now I'm retired. I've been retired for 6 years. So I was able to ship off to basic training. And after I finished my basic training and my advanced individual training, teach me my job, I was a regular soldier. For the kid that want to be an officer and go to college route, let me stop for 1 second. Did you guys watch the news when they was talking about this kid at Overhills High School that got over $3 million in scholarships, Jaquel Abdul? Well, that's one of my cadets. She had so many opportunities to go to. It was just unbelievable, the institutions that had given her scholarships to attend. But she picked North Carolina A&T, where she got a full ride to go to a ROTC, and after she graduates, she'll become an officer. So that's the second route that a kid can take. A kid do not have to be in ROTC for 1 day to apply for ROTC scholarship when it's time to graduate. They could do it just like you don't have to be in ROTC. So I want to remove that you have to be in ROTC. The other route is military academy. A lot of kids want to go to West Point, the Naval Academy, maybe the Air Force Academy. For them to get into the academy, it's a little bit tougher than maybe ROTC, but it is attainable for any high school kid. So the ones that's going to get into West Point, they're going to be the overachievers with the 4.5s and 5.0 GPAs, because I had one cadet that got accepted to West Point. 13 out of 13,000 applications that went, 1,300 people got accepted, and she was one of them. And she graduates this upcoming class next year. So we're very proud about that. So you could be enlisted, you could be an officer through the route of ROTC, or you can go through the West Point of one of the other military academies to get into the military. The hardest part for most kids is the first step, and that's passing the ASVAB test. And my advice to you would be the way you can help them. It's a 9-section test that they test them on: the general knowledge, general science, mechanical, and that's to get the information to give them their job. Any questions before I continue? Okay. So once a kid decide that they're going to take the test either at school or through the recruiting office, then that's the first step to getting qualified. After they qualified, then they have to get accepted and say, okay, yep, you're good. You're going to take your physical. You can join the Army now. Once that's done, then we ship them off to training. After they training is done, they get to go to their first duty station. It's a couple options available to kids. Most kids don't want to leave home, so they have the option of joining the regular Army, which I did. Grew up in Louisiana, and I've been gone for 38 years. You could join the National Guard for the state, which keeps you right in the state of North Carolina, or you could join the reserves. So the reserves, you could stay in North Carolina, but if it's not an opening for your job, you may have to move somewhere else. So that's the difference in the locations that places you could be assigned. Somebody got to ask me a question now because I keep going.
No, you keep going.
Okay.
I'm full of questions. But I'm going to wait a second. I'll wait.
Well, let's say this. I pretty much talked about how you could get in some of these different things. I looked at college and it said you apply, accept, you pay, and then you attend, right? So for the Army, you get qualified, get accepted, get ready for training, get trained, and you're gonna start getting paid. That's the simplest way I could put it. But there's a lot of kids, the medical, also not so much the piece of the ASVAB, but the medical has been one of the biggest problems for kids based on their history of maybe you have a kid that has an IEP or something like that, and they may have ADHD and they may be medicated. That could be something that could stop them from joining the military. And that's what happened to a couple of kids. They got to the point where they thought they were shipping off, and then they went to the MEPS. They went through the system. I forgot the name of the system. Hey, Cedric, what's the name of that system you guys use? Genesis. So my son happened to be the executive officer for the recruiting company in Fayetteville. So he's educating me quite a bit on the stuff that they do when they're looking at prospects to be soldiers. But Genesis is the system they're going to use that goes all the way back to, I guess, when you was a baby. If something was wrong with you, they know it and they could, check you out. You can overcome it based on if you hadn't been on the medication for a while, you can potentially overcome it. My last advice on that, so you can get all of the information, is if anybody want more information about what it takes to be a soldier or the requirements, your recruiters are in the high schools. You could grab them and talk to them, and they'll give you the one over the world on everything about the military. The other thing would be go to www.goarmy.com, and you could get so much information. The same thing with West Point. All you got to do is Google it, and all the other universities that have ROTC programs that provide scholarships. All right, now I'm ready for your questions.
All right, we've got one in the chat here, which is a good question. So again, we got educators on here. Do you have any tips for educators that are working with students that want to join the military, but their parents are completely against it?
So
any tips?
Yes. So I think the best thing to do is, if you're in a small town America and you don't have a lot of military presence, it makes it really hard for them to want to give their children to service. My mom had to sign for me because I was 17. When you become 18, you get to sign on your own. At the end of the day, I just think that the parents, if they want to get involved in the process of going with their kid to the recruiting station and talking to the recruiters will come to the house and even talk to the parents. So if they need that to make them feel a little bit more comfortable about their kid maybe joining, then they could do that. I personally have my son join, and I wanted him to join, but he didn't join when I wanted him to join. He joined when he was ready. So it was something that he wanted to do. And I think when they do that, they get a lot more from it, and you don't have that pressure of, I know he tried to make me happy all the time and think about what I'm gonna say if something don't go right. He was enlisted. Now he's an officer. He took the OCS route. I stayed enlisted my whole time. But for the parents, I would tell them to talk to the recruiters or even the JROTC instructors at the schools. All of their instructors now are retired. They're just changing. What's that? You can come over. My son want to help, so I'm gonna let him come in since he's here. He's here to support me. This is my son, lieutenant. He's getting ready to make captain in a couple. Next month? He's getting ready to go to Fort Jackson to be his captain career course. So he's here helping me as a chaperone with the kids. Now he works at the recruiting station, so I'll let him chime in if he like to. Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any questions first before I guess I give my 2 cents?
No, please. There's questions, but you go right ahead on your 2 cents first, please.
Okay, so yeah, like my dad said, I'm Lieutenant Thomas. I work at Fayetteville, or I previously worked at Fayetteville Company as a XO executive officer. I joined in 2017 after I graduated college at the University of Mount Olive. I ran there track and field, had a full scholarship, and I had no intention of joining the military. It was all kind of last minute for me. My parents gave me what 90 days.
90 days and $1,000.
90 days, and they said figure it out, or figure it out within the 90 days. And you know, I had no intention of joining the military, like I said, but for me, it was all about foundation and set myself up. So I signed a 3-year contract. And my first duty station was actually Hawaii. It's crazy, it's unheard of.
Hawaii.
But I went to Hawaii. I was there for 2.5 years, and then I commissioned. I dropped my packet for OCS, which is Officer Candidate School. 12 weeks school in Fort Moore now, and it just kind of teaches you to be an officer. It's kind of like basic training, just on steroids, but it's like a college type environment. It's a great time, and you learn a lot, and I definitely enjoyed my time there. And from there, I went back to Hawaii, served as an XO executive officer, waiting for my school because I went during COVID, so everything was shut down and it was crazy hectic. But went back to Hawaii, and then I waited for BOLIC, which is Basic Officer Leaders Course. Was there for 12 weeks, and then after that I got PCS, which is
Permanent Change of Station.
Yeah, I moved to Fort Campbell, and I was a PL for 2 years, and then I got the position at Fort Liberty now, and I was the next executive officer for the USAREC, which is the recruiting command. So I kind of know a little bit about recruiting and what all takes place, and getting recruits and being involved. And I think the biggest thing is just kind of making what you want known ahead of the time. So if you want a specific job, or if you have aspirations to be, in healthcare or human resource, whatever it is, just make that known, because recruiters are here to help. They want to ultimately put you in the best position, and they want to make you happy, as well as set you up for whatever goals you may have in the future. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, I think my dad kind of already went over the process, but I don't think he touched on the job specific part. So how you get your job is all based off of how well you do on your ASVAB. You have your line scores, and all that is it breaks it down to your jobs. So I don't know what the types of categories.
That's when they use the general science, the mechanical, not mechanical. Yeah, the mechanical, whatever it was. And they have the breakdown, and they could put them in the job based on their scores. I think I talked about that.
So you want a 110 GT score, and that gives you ranks to literally do almost any job in the military. and not saying it's the end all be all, but you want a 110, it opens a lot of doors for you. I think in order for you to be an officer, you have to have at least a 110 GT score. Um, but the thing now is, I think COVID kind of hurt the students. So the militaries, they've lowered the GT scores in order for them to get jobs. And then they have another program, it's called '09 Mike, which is, let's say, I think the minimum GT, or the minimum score for an ASVAB is, or that you need to join is like a 21 or 25. Um, they started a program where they allow kids to join the military, but get sent to Fort Jackson and to be in class to pretty much improve their grade and their score to get the job that they want. And then you're still getting paid while you're doing, and you're still getting paid and you're in class. And I wish I was around when I joined. It's just free money, and it's a good time. It's a good time, and I think with this generation, everything is about instant gratification. You know, I want to be promoted. I want to get all this. I want to get this. I want to get this. And in the military, you can do that. I think uh, another big thing is bonuses. Depending on the job that you decide to get, these bonuses are crazy. I had somebody come into the office and they signed like a 4-year, $30,000 contract, and I just was like, that is crazy. I couldn't imagine what I would have done with that much money when I was coming out of high school. But all in all, military, it's been great for me. Great foundation, and like my dad said, it's
So
all
what you
we
at,
know.
7 years now?
It's all
What
we
you
know.
at, 7 years now?
I have 7 years in August. I
So
still look like a baby.
so to break down the areas where teachers, if they're interested in, I would say get the ASVAB book like I recommended, just so they know how they could help. But it's broken down into general science, arithmetic reasoning, word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, mathematics knowledge, electronics information, automotive and shop information, mechanical comprehension, assembling objects, and the verbal expression. That's the categories that the ASVAB is broken down into. So I think the thing that I can remember, now this was back when, I mean, in 1986. I don't know if everybody on here was born in. but anyway, I remember the arithmetic reasoning being one of the challenges for me, and that, and then the comprehension. I was like, man, I can't remember this stuff for 5 minutes. I had to read it like 5 times. So once the clock is over, and the good thing about it, you just take the test. Whatever you answer, if you got it wrong, you got it wrong. But if you take a guess and you got it right, your score could potentially be better. We'll stop for a second.
No, thank you. We do have some questions coming in. So
Okay.
one, so I think one of you were talking about the '09 Mike. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So how can counselors, educators get information about that program?
I'm gonna answer real quick and then I'm gonna let him do it. So it was a kid in my school that wanted to join the Army so bad till the day they was taking the ASVAB test. She was late or whatever, she missed it. Kids in tears. I look across the hall in the other class and I'm seeing her crying, and I'm like, what's going on? So Miss Morris like, she really wanted to take that ASVAB test. So what I do, I call the recruiters, linked her up with them. They set up a time where they could give her the ASVAB test. Her scores wasn't the best, and she happened to be in that program he's talking about. So it's like we could have just left her out there. You didn't do well enough. You're not going to join the Army, but they've invested where they're going to get her to a point where her stuff is good enough where she could stay.
So yes, ma'am. So all in all, it just is the presence from the recruiters. They should be coming into your schools and providing this information to not only the counselors but the students. But depending on where you are, like I don't know where everybody's coming from in the meeting, but I probably could point you in the right direction because we serve a huge majority of North Carolina, and if they're not in my area, then I could have somebody always reach out and give their 2 cents as well.
Perfect. And I know also so not every high school, right, has JROTC. So for any educators on today or listening later on YouTube, is there anything different you tell folks if they don't have JROTC there? I mean, just reach out to a local recruiter. And I mean, the local recruiter's definitely been in contact with the high school and they know who that is. Is that fair?
Yes, and when all else fail in small town America, I mean, recruiters are everywhere. I would definitely reach out to the www.goarmy.com, and it has all of the contacts by regions on who you can contact if you want to have interest in the military.
Okay. A couple more questions. So is March to Success still available as a support for students?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
Okay. Yes, so yes, thank you. And then another question. So how might students know, and this is a good question too, how might they know what branch of the military is right for them? So obviously we have Army represented today. Army's a huge presence in our state with Fayetteville and everything. You know, how would a student know if they're like, I want to go to the military, and that's the extent of what they know? That's it.
I'll say this, based on the scoring, I'm looking at it. If you want to join the Army, Marines, Air Force, and the Navy, the lowest score you could get is a 31 on the Armed Forces qualification test. A kid that want to join the Coast Guard, they would have to get at least a 40 on the same test, the ASVAB that I'm talking about, right? So they have a way they come up with what the AFQT is. And the highest one, believe it or not, is the Air National Guard. You have to get a 50. You get a 50, you're doing pretty good. You could almost go do whatever job you want to. The other thing about the scoring is someone that graduates high school, they would have to go in. If it was the Army, you're going with a 31. If you have a GED, you have to score at least a 50. But they still have the opportunity to serve. But the job, I would recommend, based on scores that the kids have, on recommending them to that branch of service. So the ones who score really high, and if the Air Force or the Coast Guard, whoever have a higher requirement, I would tell them to go that way. I'll be honest, I'm Army, but my whole idea of a kid serving, I don't care which one it is, as long as they're doing something positive, and I try to hook them up to whichever recruiter they want to speak to when they say, hey, I want to join the Air Force. That's who I turn them on to, the Air Force recruiter that come to my school, or the Navy. I like the other ones, but I love the Army. What else you got?
Nope, that makes sense. And I really appreciate you guys talking so much about the scores, because, you know, I think that the educators listening to this can kind of, you know, I'm sure this sounds familiar to them. You know, we've got students that will study hard for the ASVAB and come in prepared because they kind of have a feeling of what it's all about and how that relates to what job they might have afterwards. We also have students that don't think necessarily that test is very important and show up, and they might be a student who didn't really need to study a lot. They've done well, they know their stuff, or it might be a student who really needed to kind of study and take it really serious because it relates to the job they're going to have. Right?
So the Army divided into categories based on a score, and I'll go to anything under the 31 that I talked to you about earlier is considered a Cat 4. Going up 31 through 49 is a Cat 3. That's category 3. A category 3 also, that's 3 Bravo. 3 Alpha is a 50 to 64. Category 2 is 65 to 92. And I've always dreamed of this, but I didn't make it. Category 1 is a 93 to 99. A kid that get that, they could do anything they want to do. So I would tell them to study for that ASVAB, especially if they want to get some of the hard to get jobs that have high requirements. It's all about that ASVAB test.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I know I have learned a lot this morning about all of this. And it's just so helpful because we have folks that are going to be listening to this that are also with other college access organizations. So they necessarily are may or may not be, you know, retired military, you know, they maybe know a lot about all this or not. So it's just really helpful for folks to listen to this and get some really good information about the enlistment side of it, especially, and that ASVAB. And we know, you know, we talk to the students, they want to join the military. Great. My next question usually is, what do you want to do in the military? You know, and it's I don't know, right? They don't know, but those skills are so important because they may end up staying in and retiring, or they may do their 3 years and get out. And then those skills that they've learned, how can they be, you know, used out as a civilian? So it's
The last thing I would say,
important.
if anyone have further questions that I didn't answer or we didn't talk about, just feel free to go to I work in Harnett County School District, Overhills High School, Command Sergeant Major Thomas, and you could send me a message or call me or whatever you want to, and we could discuss it all day. So I'm available to help. This is when you get back to school and you may have a question, feel free to reach out, and I could, if I can't answer it for you, I got a whole bunch of people lined up. They're waiting to talk to you. You're on mute, April.
Geez Louise, how many years have we been doing this? I mute myself so when I stuff like that, when you're talking, people don't hear it. If you feel comfortable putting contact information in the chat, email address, you're welcome to. You both we really appreciate your time and your service and all of your information that you've been able to share this morning. So I'll stop for 1 second and see if there's any other questions. Either in the chat, or you guys are always welcome to unmute also. That's one of the nice things about these formats that we do monthly. They're meant to be more relaxed so that you know, folks can come off mute and chat and so forth. So all right, so we have one more question. We'll take that. Thank you so much. This is perfect. Last question. And then we'll just kind of finish up. Just here's our usual outreach team, and our last slide. I'll leave this up here and go to the last question. So how should students prepare physically for the military?
That's good. So that was the first note I made, but I got away from it. I was thinking about education. So the mental and physical requirements is number one. After the ASVAB, I mentioned earlier about the medication and some of the things they may have had. Once they put them in that Genesis, if it's something that's gonna pop off that make them unqualified for the military, then it will show up. But the best way I would say to prepare for the Army, they got the new for the Army, they're doing this new physical fitness test. It used to be push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. Now you guys are doing
ACFT. And it's a consists of 6 events. So it's a ball throw, it's a deadlift, it's a sprint drag carry, 2-mile run, and a plank. And push-ups, hand release push-ups. And the highest you can score is 600, kind of like the APFT. Highest you can score is 300, but all it is, I feel like all it is CrossFit. CrossFit on steroids, and then there's a gut punch at the end where you have to do a 2-mile run, and that normally humbles a lot of people. But for me, I prepare for it. I just lift weights and I run, and I kind of just mimic the ACFT when I do my workouts. So we do deadlifts, and I try to mimic everything that we do during the test, just to make it easy. So when test day comes around, I can just destroy it.
And the final thing is, I open up my doors to anybody in the school. The thing about us, I mean, it's our school. You don't have to be in JROTC for us to invite you in to join us in PT. We do PT every Friday. That's our scheduled day. But also the activities they're doing in the gym, I would say get to, especially if a person don't like to do PT. We have some kids here at STEM camp right now. They don't like a whole lot of marching and all that stuff. When you get in this type of environment, you're kind of forced to be able to do something, you know? So I would say get with the people at your school, or even the recruiters. They're welcome. They'll give you a program to help you get yourself ready to be shipped to basic training.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. For me, the topics and the ASVAB score and stuff, I got that under control. The PT part, you guys are amazing. We appreciate it. That side of it too. We
Right.
appreciate you all being here today. Anything else we want to add as we kind of finish up this morning?
Hey, thanks for having us. And again, thank you guys for all your support that you give to service members wherever they at. I mean, I'm sure some of y'all done sent care packages or said thank you for your service or whatever. So today, I just want to thank you on the behalf of all of the folks that do serve our country and that's willing to do things that 99% of the American people are not willing to do. And that's fight and defend this country.
Yep, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate all of your information and for you all being on today to listen. And again, everyone kind of heading up and watching us on YouTube later. So good luck at the STEAM. You said it was a STEAM camp, right? Or
We
STEM?
will be graduating on Friday, heading back to
Oh.
North Carolina. Can't wait to get across the border.
I know. Yeah, come on back to correct Carolina. Come on over.
Yes, yes. So
we
again,
appreciate
you guys
you.
have a great day. And thanks for the invite.
Thank you both so much. Have a wonderful day. And everyone else on today, thank you. Have a good summer. We'll see you in August. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.